There is video making the rounds of a group of MAGA supporters yelling at a couple of hospital workers who are doing a counter protest. Go to China if you want communism. What? What? Okay. Look, I'm beginning to understand that communism might be a catch-all for things that people either both don't like or don't understand. Case in point, right? Why is it that everything they don't like is somehow communism? Don't quite get it. Okay. Now, why are people so not only so stupid, but selfish, right? Yes, I said it. This lady, she is absolutely selfish. And yes, so are a lot of the protesters. Now, you want to get mad at me, you want to cry and call me names. All right, that's fine. I don't care. But you are being selfish. That's the fact. See, here's the thing. Nobody likes this quarantine. I want this quarantine to be over. I want people to be able to go back to work, and I want people to go and make money. I'm being economically affected as well. And I want the economy to do better. See, now, right wingers, they're all projecting. They're like, I can't believe you want the economy to fail. No, I don't want the economy to fail. I'm affected by the economy. I'm part of the economy. No, of course I don't want it to fail. But I actually want the administration to do things that are smart, that are informed by science and fact. That's what I want. But see, we're not going to be able to do that. We're not going to be able to go back to doing the things that we want to do. And yes, that involves Karen getting a freaking haircut. We're not going to be able to do that if we're not willing to put in the time and effort to stop the virus from spreading rapidly and overwhelming our healthcare system. That's the whole point of social distancing. But no, these Chads and these Karens complain about not getting a haircut when there are people literally choking on their own fluids in hospitals right now with a tube stuck in their throat. Many of them will probably die, and if they recover, the odds are good that they will suffer permanent damage to their lungs and other organs as a result of this virus. That is what we're dealing with. Is that worth a haircut? Is it? Is it? Now, that said, I'm not going to paint all the protesters as the same, right? Even though there are a lot that are just completely uninformed, and the only thing they're protesting against is being inconvenienced, right? But there are some people, some actual working class, regular people who are negatively affected by this. And a lot of people are, right? And those are the ones that are worried about not being able to feed their families. I understand those people. I'm not talking about those people. So let me just be 100% clear that I'm not talking. If you're worried about, like, hey, man, look, I can't work. The unemployment system is a mess. We're getting a $1,200 check. That's not going to cover my bills. Dude, I get it. You are not the people that I am talking about. The government has been doing a terrible job. Broken unemployment systems, that $1,200 check that could be seized by your bank. And then you've got rents and mortgages that have not been canceled. They are still due. So all of this is pretty messed up, right? So I get that a lot of you are pissed. I'm pissed as well. Because the government is forcing us to stay home on the one hand and not work in the many jobs that you can't telework in. And if you are, of course, teleworking and you're able to telework, that's great, right? And maybe we should have a conversation about allowing people to telework at those jobs that they said, oh, no, you need to come in. You need to come in. Well, if you can telework now, you could always telework, right? But the ones who can't, those are mainly working class jobs. And so these governments are saying, you need to stay at home. And by the way, we're really not going to help you all that much. So good luck. If you're mad about that, I completely understand. I totally understand. And the administration, as a result of this, needs to step in a big way. Absolutely big way. Now, they're not planning to do so. For the same reason, of course, that these protests are happening. Because you have rich people. Rich people are astroturfing the entire thing. This entire movement, right? And these protests, for example, by these Karens that all they're worried about is getting a haircut and going golfing, which, by the way, I like golfing. I want to go golfing, but guess what? I can't because I'm a responsible adult and actually care about the other members of my community. That's why I'm not going out and doing these things. But these protests have been funded by people like Betsy DeVos and Charles Koch. And these protests have also been egged on by Donald Trump, by the president, who on the one hand released very sensible guidelines for the states, basically allowing the states to set their own timetables based on actually three criteria that are, based on solid scientific evidence, right? So his administration releases those guidelines, which makes sense. And yet, on the other side, on Twitter, you say, liberate Michigan. Let's liberate Pennsylvania. Liberate Virginia. The Second Amendment is under attack. No, they're not. No, it's not. More people are buying guns than, were before. Gun sales are up, man. And by the way, speaking of the guns, it makes me think of the preppers, right? I thought you preppers were prepared, for staying down in your bunkers for the next 10 years, right? I thought you were prepared for that. And now you're getting all butthurt that you can't get a haircut. Come on. But no, Donald Trump is egging this on. And what we need to do is have these people that are in power, right, that could actually do something. They should be able to go and help these families. And they're choosing not to. You know what the squad says? The squad, they actually want to do something about this. They say we should give every American $2,000 a month, at least, right? $1,000 for a kid. And we should do that until the next at least year or until the economy gets back to pre-coronavirus levels. We should also have a temporary moratorium on rents and mortgages. That would actually help. And how they would do it, of course, is they would mint two $1 trillion coins by the Treasury. They can do that. Now, there's no reason not to, especially when the Federal Reserve has given over $6 trillion to the banks so far. Yeah. So they're sending that money to the banks, but they can't send any money to the rest of us. Ridiculous. Look, the United States, I know the Republican position is, the United States budget works like a household budget. No, it does not. It certainly does not. A household can't create money out of thin air. I know because we would have done it already. A lot of people would. But that would actually help, and the people in power could do it because they actually don't want to. They don't actually care. They would rather sacrifice you and your family in order to help their corporate donors. No, what we need to do is we need to continue practicing social distancing, and thankfully, most Americans agree. These protesters are a very, very small fringe minority of the American people. In fact, in a recent Politico Morning Consult poll released last Wednesday, 81% of Americans say that America should continue social distancing for as long as needed in order to curb the spread of coronavirus. That's even if it means continued damage to the economy. 81% of Americans say they have not left their home for a prolonged period of time, according to another survey. And 86% of respondents to a Democracy Fund UCLA Nationscape USA Today survey said they stopped visiting family and friends because they were worried. So you have massive majorities of people saying social distancing, let's do it. Let's beat the virus. Let's stay home. Let's avoid infecting family and friends. Let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing, even if it does cause harm. The rest of these people, the rest of the citizens are like, I want a haircut. I got to go golfing. Screw it. I'm going to infect everybody. And by next week or the week after, they could be infecting our frontline healthcare workers in the hospitals as they're gagging for breath. So really. But look, most people are being smart and proactive. And most importantly, they do care enough about their communities to help stop the spread of the virus. The loud minority that is protesting and putting the rest of us in danger, well, they're doing it for reasons that are mostly selfish. And they're going to be the ones that, again, are going to find themselves part of a new wave of coronavirus patients. For example, we saw that in Kentucky. Now, that state just announced 273 new coronavirus cases. Now, in Kentucky, that is the highest single day rise to date for the state. And in fact, according to Newsweek, Kentucky's increase in infected individuals comes after protesters took to the streets throughout the week to call for the state to be reopened. Now, Kentucky has 2,960 cases of the virus, 1,100 recoveries, and a total of 128 deaths, which is now sure to increase thanks to those people not staying home. And in every place that we've seen a protest, about 5 states in total that have so far held protests, Michigan being one of them, we are now probably a week away from seeing a gigantic spike in coronavirus cases, thanks to people not being smart enough to stay home, which means because of this, people will have to stay home longer. This is the cost of ignorance, arrogance, and privilege. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.